from the Three Zoos here today to talk about quarantine. So I'm guessing you're watching this because you have a dog and your location is on some kind of lockdown, which is restricting the amount of time you can go outside with your dog. So you're probably trying to find ways to keep your dog healthy and happy during quarantine so that they're not stressed and they're not anxious or nervous or like pent up energy. And the good thing is there's a lot you can do to keep your dog happy. It's pretty easy to entertain them. You just gotta be creative and find different ways to motivate them to work and stuff without you constantly needing to guide them. So in this video I just wanted to take 5 of the easiest things that I do with my dog during times of quarantine or whenever else I'm leaving him alone for extended periods of time and I just need him to be busy and not get, nervous or lonely or sad. So anyways, I'm gonna add a bonus in this video, which are Kong toys, because I feel like you don't find an enrichment video that does not mention Kong toys, because first of all, they're super easy. They're generally safe as long as you don't clog them and your dog doesn't get them stuck or on their mouth. And they're really, really easy to fill, so you really shouldn't be worried about like time-consuming things. Alright, so to start this video off, I have to mention Kong toys because I personally love these. I've got a whole bunch of them, and you really don't find an enrichment video on the internet that doesn't mention Kong toys because they're Kong toys. They're super easy. This one you fill up with treats and then you close it, and it's kind of weighted at the bottom so it like wobbles around and they have to try and get the treats out through this hole. He's excited because he loves playing with these. I don't know if you can tell how damaged they are, but they are in horrible condition right now because he has used them a ton and he absolutely adores his Kong toys. These ones you can fill with something, so anything creamy, or you put treats and then cover it with something creamy, or you could even freeze it up with a liquid or something creamy inside to make it more difficult for the dog to get the food out. But these ones I think are the most common Kongs that you'll find people using, so these are great too. He's obviously very excited because he loves these toys, so Chewie approves. These ones are also Kongs. These ones are like bones, they're like flexy, and you can play fetch with them and throw them around, or you can fill these sides here with them. So many things you can do with Kong toys. Another Kong toy that we have are these balls, which are hollow on the inside, so you can fill them up with treats as well. And so you fill these up with treats, you can cover it with like peanut butter or cream cheese, and then they have to lick it off and get the treats out. And of course, these are all a ton of fun, but you don't only have to use Kong toys for this. Kong toys are safe and they're very widely supported and approved, but you can fill other toys, such as like this little rubber ball that we bought. You can also fill them if they have holes. Basically, any dog toy that has holes, fill it up and it will keep your dog happy and busy for extended periods of time depending on the difficulty. You can look up different ways to fill the toys to make them more enjoyable and to make your dog spend more time, working on them. Right now he's trying to get some treats out of this one. Okay, you don't have any Kong toys, you don't have any dog toys that are hollow, you don't have any things you can stuff. There's no problem. You can use toilet paper rolls. He's getting excited because he knows I do this a lot. Even though we have all these Kong toys, what I like about toilet paper rolls is you're probably planning to throw them away anyways, so you don't have much use for them. You can fill them in many different ways. You can fold them over like this and close them off like that. Or you can just leave them as tubes and fill them and then cover them with peanut butter, whatever works best. The good thing about these is your dog gets to be more destructive because it can just rip them up into shreds, and that's that. But remember, if you're planning to give something like this, make sure that your dog isn't going to eat the cardboard, because you don't want your dog to eat anything that's not healthy for them. Anyways, so toilet paper rolls, I love using them. You run out of toilet paper, you just put some food in here. Usually I do this with his breakfast or his morning food. I'll just put the food in and then fold it over like this and make a little capsule like this and just give it to him, and then he'll basically try and open it to get the food out. You can also do this with other cardboard things or the kitchen roll, which are the longer ones. Whatever works best for you and your dog. Next, we have plastic bottles. This one has been used, it's quite dirty, but I know you love these, huh? For some reason, I've noticed that a lot of dogs love biting on plastic, so things like this are great. They love biting on them. You can just leave it like this and let them bite on it. Alright, so you can just leave these like this with air, and then your dog can bite on them and have fun with them like that. Or you can take off the lid and take off this plastic around here and then fill this with food. So it's open. Hold on, this is tight. So it'll be open without this plastic rim here, and then you fill it with food and your dog tries to get the food out. If that's too difficult for your dog or it's frustrating your dog, I would recommend you put some holes around the bottom so that your dog doesn't get, frustrated. You don't want to create a frustrated dog. You want a dog that's happy and healthy. I lost the cap. You want to create a dog that is happy and well stimulated. You don't want to create a frustrated dog. So that's the bottle. Next, I wanted to pull out my Frisbee because I feel like people underestimate fetch games. So if you don't have a big yard, which you can use, you can just teach your dog some quick, close contact Frisbee. I feel like, first of all, it stimulates their brain because they're learning a new way of playing fetch, and you're also teaching them to catch something in the air, which maybe they haven't done before, and that stimulates them too. Or you're teaching them to run behind a disc that doesn't really look as fun as maybe doesn't look as fun as maybe a toy like this. So you're teaching them to go after different kinds of toys, different textures. This is a soft Frisbee. You can use hard Frisbees. You have to be careful of not getting them hurt, of course. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is trick training, because I think people underestimate the power of trick training. You do not need to use treats to trick train your dog. If you have spare time or you're just feeding them in the morning, little things like asking them to wait before they eat their food, asking them to sit before they eat, asking them to give their paw before they eat. I didn't ask you to give your paw. Little things like that will help your dog, have a little more structure in their life, and it will also give them a little more mental stimulation because they have to work for their food, and they'll be like, hey, what does she want me to do this time? Do I have to lay down before I eat? Do I have to speak before I eat? And little by little, you'll start noticing your dog's tricks get more solidified because he gets used to performing them more often for rewards that maybe aren't treats or aren't food or aren't toys. And but it literally just 10 minutes a day of asking them to sit and give their paw will make their sit and their giving their paw much more solidified in their mind, and then that makes them much more confident when performing tricks, which is great because then they'll be much more willing to perform in the future. Ain't that right? Another thing you can do is balancing exercises. If you've got those rubber balls, I would obviously look up some videos before you try doing that on your own because you don't want to get your dog injured. But if you have maybe like a thin wall where your dog could walk on and try to balance on, or different surfaces to encourage your dog to walk on, that's very good because then that stimulates both your dog mentally and physically, because physically they're trying to balance and step on these weird things, but also mentally they're learning that there are different textures that they might need to walk on at some point in their life, and that's going to make it easier for them in the future when maybe you're walking over a gravel paved floor and they've never stepped on that before. It'll take much less time for them to adjust and keep going without getting nervous. Another thing you could do is distribute their food around the yard or around the floor. If you have a carpet floor, you can try putting the food around the carpet floor, as long as you know they won't eat the carpet. Of course, you want to make sure you know that your dog's not going to eat like the plastic, the cardboard, the carpet. You want to be careful with that because not all dogs are like him. He doesn't eat things that aren't food most of the time. So you obviously want to be careful with that and make sure you supervise your dog, especially the first few times you're trying out these things, because you want to make sure they're, first of all, not getting frustrated, second of all, not putting themselves in danger, and third of all, that they're actually getting stimulated, that they're not just leaving the toy and ignoring it. And of course, then you can adjust the difficulty based on how they're doing with the current difficulty. And so yeah, you distribute the food and then they'll have to use their nose to sniff it out, and they're also using their body to move around and find everything. So that's both physical and mental stimulation. And of course, nothing stimulates a dog more than their nose. So any other thing you want to do with your dog to kind of encourage them to stimulate themselves, hide things around the house, make them sniff for something, and you'll get amazing results. Sniffy whiffies get them tired. Basically, make them use this amazing little nose they've got, because it is incredibly powerful and it works their brain, it works their body, and it keeps them happy and healthy. That's the end of the video. Chewie here is passed out, so I think we're gonna have to say bye-bye. Hope you got something out of this video. Something that doesn't just say dog training needs to be expensive, because it really does not. You can fill these bottles, well anyways, you can fill these things with their food. So for dinner, for breakfast, they start the day off, you just give them this with some kibble in, you give them this with some kibble in, and that'll keep them busy for a few minutes in the morning. And then for the rest of the day, they'll probably be a bit more calm because they've already had some kind of stimulation. They didn't just wake up, eat, and then boom. Bye, hope you enjoy, and happy quarantining. Oh yeah, gotta shoot from here. Go. Jerk. Notification to make them. Oh my god, there's a squirrel fighting a bird outside. Where did it go? Okay, so I lost the toilet paper. I don't know where'd you put it? Oh, he ate it. Get up. Oh, you fatty. Get up. Good. See it? That was not a sit. Thanks for watching.